first rate town, but all you ever notice are the ways it stretched too far. And it has been knocked down, while some of us are still left here between the scars. When you look around, all you ever notice is you cannot see the stars. This is a first rate town, you know. You just can't see very far. When the last door closed, you packed your clothes and went back to Montreal. Said it was colder there, which still hangs in the air. It helps you forget it all. You left an empty bookshelf that I didn't fill till fall. This is a first rate town, you know. You just can't see it at all. Well, it will fade as all things must. I loved you, but you didn't love me enough. Winter comes, the car will rust. I'll start it up, then always run a little rough. This is a first-rate town, and all you ever notice are the ways it stretched too far. But keep the death rates down, it's colder than a winter spent in defrosting cars. We talked a lot of leaving, didn't think you'd get that far. This is a first-rate town, you know. You just can't see very far.
Hello, y'all. Welcome. Hello, y'all. Welcome. Oh, there is an echo. Okay. There we go. Now that's fixed. I'm so excited to be here with y'all this morning. We're going to be talking about Svelte.js, which, as you know, I both love and have a storied history with. Hello, Lil Panda. Welcome. First time chatter. Excited to see you here. It is 9 a.m. Eastern time for me, which is usually like the earliest streams of the streams that I do are at 9 a.m. So I have my coffee with me. For those of you who are not here for my... Oh, hi, I'm Dimmer. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. For those of you who are not here for my previous stream, lots TTV, I will get to this. We started this week with the idea that we were going to learn about the theory behind NoSQL databases, which is something that I need to learn. I need to learn how to structure that, how to think about that. But I realized in my first stream of the week, which was 2 days ago, that I don't know enough about actually building database applications to be able to know that, like, to learn that theory. Where if I was in a classroom context, I would be able to be taught the theory and give an example by, like, instructors with lots of experience, but learning it on my own, I need to have at least some amount of experiential knowledge to be able to make connections. That's just how my brain works. And I don't have that experience. I have done things with the NoSQL databases, but they've all been fairly simple applications where it is not modeling data, but rather treating the NoSQL database as just like a ledger that I'm appending to and then reading from. So yeah, I realized that wasn't exactly working. And someone on that stream, I'm forgetting who, if you are here, feel free to take credit for this, introduced me to Supabase, which is... we will get today's on Svelte, but I'm giving the context for what's happening on these streams. Also, Google thinks I'm a robot, and I am incredibly bad at solving CAPTCHAs. So this is a new little mini game that we have in every stream where I Google something to show y'all, and I try. Okay, I can always do the audio ones. I can never do the visual ones.
Helps them believe.
Great. Supabase is the open source Firebase alternative. And it is a really interesting project, which my understanding of it, and I might be incorrect, is that it basically combines multiple different open source projects to create a like Firebase-like developer experience, but with open source tooling. So the actual projects that this is switched to is we're going to create a front end in Svelte, and then we are going to deploy our own Supabase instance onto a Raspberry Pi that I have over there. We've already deployed things to using Docker on stream before. That is something we have done before. And we're going to be using that. Supabase uses PostgreSQL, which means that we're not doing anything with NoSQL. So that was yesterday's stream. Not yesterday, 2 days ago stream. The other stream that I did, which was chaotic, but I've made things in Svelte before. I understand Svelte. I'm excited to do Svelte. And we have a really interesting project that we get to talk about, that I will be talking about these goals in a sec. Checking chat here. Lots TTV. I will talk about my camera. Welcome. It's always nice seeing a first-time chatter. I just know that if I start talking about that, I will get very distracted because I'm very passionate about the production technology side of things. It is what I do in my day job. Shem, how does one acquire stored histories with applications? It is a combination of the way that I like to learn is by jumping right into something and experimenting with it. And also that I often do that on live streams where making mistakes is very public. So again, Svelte, I love Svelte, and also I have had some Svelte experiences on stream with SvelteKit, which I believe you were here for, that have just gone so off the rails. I have no idea. I also have to create something with React. Have no idea currently. That is intense. The first projects that you do with a front-end framework. I remember my first React project. Thankfully, it was at a hackathon with someone who had used React before, who was able to like walk me through some things, but it drove me up the wall insane. I have a bad habit of when I'm learning something new, I keep going, this is stupid, that like I am smarter than the person who made this, and the choices that they made are bad. And there's some instances where that is relevant. I'm going back to school. Woot woot, question mark, very stressful. Anyway, and the University of Michigan teaches all of their computer science classes in C++. I've never written anything in C++ before. For those of you who have written code in C and C++, you will know about the ampersand and the asterisk or star operate both as operators and in variable declaration, or declaration for the star, instantiation for the ampersand. I dislike that, and at least my instructor was like, yeah, blame. Oh, I'm blanking on the name of the person behind C. Anyway, tangent. Getting back. Yeah, so we're going to be doing Svelte. I love Svelte because it is a good first experience for when you are doing something like your first React app. Svelte, the way it is structured, and we'll talk more about this obviously, it uses vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It just puts those pieces together in a slightly different way that allows it to do its magic of adding extra features on top of it, but you can use your like go-to however you would write things before, just with some extra power on top of it, which I love. Because React, extremely powerful. Most of my hackathon projects were done in React. And also React has like a specific like way of thinking about things that it is asking you to use. And that is always difficult to learn, that like way of thinking about things. Hello. I had one doubt. Supabase is client DB or normal DB like MongoDB? I believe it is a normal DB because you host it on a server somewhere. You can either host it for free on their community servers or you can host it yourself. Heard about Supabase? I'm glad. Hello. Lots TDV, talk more about your day job. I will, but I cannot do. I have learned that if I get too into that at the start of the streams, that is what the stream becomes. Shem, yeah, we all learn best from making mistakes, aka it's all good. Oh, yeah. I have learned of like how I can live and let live with making mistakes on stream. I learned that years ago when I first started. And also, it's always kind of funny to be in the position of when I think it is very valuable. I've talked about this before ad nauseum about my like theories around streaming. I think it is very valuable for me to be making mistakes on stream and to be learning things on stream, because I wish that I had more people who were visibly doing that when I was learning computer science. I just realized I was hiding my MLH shirt. You'll only see the top of it, but it is there. Yeah. Dimmer, this is going to be super easy and take about 10 minutes. For those of you who've not been to one of my streams before, I infamously set out to deliberately give myself easy projects for streams. Easy projects for streams, as in I am very cognizant of the fact that I have a limited amount of time, and half of this is interacting with y'all. That is like the fun and great thing about live streams. So I like try making projects that have a smaller scope than like a hackathon project to make sure that I can get through it. But I have a bad habit of saying, oh, this will be super easy. And I've actually set up a speedrunning timer in the past of being like, I have 10 minutes left in the stream. I think we can host this on Google Cloud Platform in that time. I think that's the most extreme example of that. Lol Panda, I'm actually learning React by watching a to-do list. Oh, by creating a to-do list without watching tutorials. I feel less overwhelmed when I don't see tutorials. I just Google and learn from Stack Overflows. I am giving you poetry slam snaps. I love that. I find tutorials really helpful, that like first step when like you don't even know where to start. But I also love just jumping into something and making the mistakes. And like that's what I want to do for when I eventually am like focusing on NoSQL, of like I can learn a tutorial. I was experiencing this yesterday with I learned how to do Python unit testing using the unit test library, which is built into Python. But I learned it the way that a tutorial taught it, because I like needed it for a project that I was doing, some algorithm stuff, whatever. And the way that they did it was they had a tests folder that was at a lower like level in the file like system hierarchy tree, whatever, than your main code. But I like understood the tutorial enough to get it working, and I was using that successfully for months. And then yesterday...
Hello, y'all.
Hello, Rahals. I open up this project, and nothing works, and I don't know what changed. I believe it has to do with like changing workspaces in VS Code, that like there were some environment variables that I didn't save to settings. But I learned like a lot more about Python and file structuring, because you can't call a module that is from a higher level of the file tree, like the file system tree, than the current module. Anyway, some deranged things that I was basically like, I can't find this tutorial again, and I don't know how they made this work, so I just needed to restructure it and redo it. Tutorials can be, in short, tutorials can be great, but also you learn a specific thing rather than gaining the wide breadth of knowledge that you gain by trying to troubleshoot something. Hey, hello. Developer Keshav Kumar. Svelte is front-end only or both front-end and back-end? Svelte is front-end only. We will talk about Svelte.Kit. Svelte.Kit is a Next.js competitor that combines, it is a full-stack web development platform. That right there is the thing that I really struggled with, where I had a stream last month where I was like, oh, I'll make this in Svelte. I know Svelte. Great. And then I was like, oh, the last time that I was thinking about Svelte on like a theoretical level, Svelte.Kit was still in beta. It's out of beta. I should use this. It has better Firebase compatibility. Svelte.Kit has a way of thinking that if you've done a lot of web development before, specifically full stack web development before, it makes sense. I have mostly done front-end web development or back-end web development. I like have kind of siloed the two of them in my brain. I will learn eventually how to merge those over, but for now, it was extremely difficult to use Svelte.Kit, and I kept having all these errors because I didn't know all of the context. So Svelte can be used in that like combination way with Svelte.Kit. We are just going to be using it as a front-end framework with just Svelte. Lol Panda, I'm glad I found someone who has the same learning style as me, because literally I have friends who only rely on tutorials. Yeah, again, if I have, like you are trying to answer a specific question. And if that specific question is small in scope, great. If not, then you need to like learn. You can't find a tutorial, or at least I am unsuccessful in finding a tutorial that covers everything that I need to know. I am realizing that I did not turn on my light, so my face is it's still well lit enough, but could be better. So I am going to go quickly turn on this light. 1 second. I'm going to leave the microphone on so you can hear me flipping switches and things like that. Ooh hoo hoo. Okay, hello. I am back. And apparently I caught in between songs, but that's always stressful when I'm like, oh no, the music stopped, everything's breaking. Okay, hello. So, that is like a good introduction as to the context of this stream, what is happening, where we are going from here. But let's talk about the project that we are making. I put that in quotes because this is a larger project and we are building part of it. How many of y'all, let's do a poll here. Do you know what geocaching is? Yes? No? We're going to start this poll. Type 1 in chat if yes, you do know what geocaching is. Type 2 in Twitch chat if you do not. Shem, yes, amazing. 2 people, 3 people. Oh my goodness. Okay. I asked this because I'm wondering how far in depth I need to go into this. Because yesterday, or not yesterday, the previous stream that I had, no one knew what geocaching was. Hey, okay. Okay, good split. Semester, welcome, first time chatter. A lot of people that I'm seeing for the first time voting. Hello. Lots DTVO, never mind, I know it. Oh my goodness, Shem, I love that so much. I never understood the allure until I set out to visit all the libraries in my state. That is perfect. Mwah, chef's kiss. I love that. Okay. I'm going to stop the poll. I think I have a good understanding of where chat generally is at, where most people do not know what geocaching is. And the app that I'm like thinking of that we are building these like pieces of the project for is based around geocaching. Geocaching is an outdoor recreational activity in which participants use a global positioning. Do I have a way? Oh, I want like a reader view for y'all. Okay, that's better. Geocaching is an outdoor recreational activity in which participants use a global positioning system receiver or mobile device and other navigational techniques to hide and seek containers called geocaches or caches at specific locations marked by coordinates all over the world. In essence, geocaching is where you go out into the real world and you hide something and then you tell everyone a like little riddle to where you would find it if you've hidden it, and also the GPS coordinates of like where to go. Let me see if there's a good picture. There we go. This is a good example of a geocache where you just have some fun little like prizes for people to grab, and also this one's also fun little prizes. I'm looking to see, they often contain, there we go. You have a little note here where you get to write if you found it or not. This is the idea of geocaching. Basically, you go out into the real world and you find little hidden things and you either get a small prize or you write down, hey, I found this on this date. Ethical COD, I will get to that. And any prerequisites to learn that? No, there are not. Then there's usually a clue for the next cache. Yes, if it is a series, yes. I have never seen a cache that is a part of a series. Ethical COD, you do not need to apologize. The beauty of a live stream is that you can come at any time. I have only ever done one-off geocaches where you find it and that is it. The creator does not have another one. But that sounds incredibly cool. The idea of like, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Of having a geocache. Oh, there is a reader view in Firefox. Oh, okay. Anyway, of having a geocache that then leads you to the next one. Where will we be using Svelte.js? We will be using it in the front end in a second. I'm just like explaining why we're building what we're building. So that's what geocaching is. And the idea for this project is like hyper-local, short-term geocaching, which sounds a little deranged, I understand. But basically, there's a book. Let me see if I can find the name of this book. It is not an incredible book, but it is a book that I read as a teenager that I liked. That's a video game. Great, found it. The book is called Warcross, and it is a sci-fi book in which the main character is like a hacker, and everyone in this world plays this like VR like game, and this VR game is based around like kind of Capture the Flag, but it is from like this real world game that the genius developer behind this game played with his younger sibling, where you just had like a basket of like of these plastic Easter eggs. Very common in the US. I don't know other places, where they are just like these small orbs that you can put things inside. Wow, those are large. That are brightly colored, and you just kind of like scattered them around a park, and then it was for the main character or the creator's younger brother to just run around and grab them. And that sounded incredibly fun to like play hide and seek basically with objects, a little scavenger hunt. Like, I liked that. And my thought was, wouldn't it be cool to combine geocaching and this to make a game that, like, imagine you get some friends together and for a weekend you like have determined the area of like your hometown, your college campus, a local park that you have each hidden different objects in, like a local geocache, and you have a certain amount of time to try like getting these objects. And wouldn't it be cool if there was an app that allowed you to both get the clues, and then when you find it, click, hey, I found it, and everyone gets that broadcasted to them in this app. Now, as I say this out loud, I realize that you could just do this in a group chat. Like, this doesn't need to be an application, but I think it is very fun. So that is like the overarching idea of this application that we are trying to build. And thus, we need a small front end and a database. But this front end is mostly just a way of writing to the database. So we have our like what we need to do in the database, which is store users and store a Unix timestamp when a user presses a button to show that they found something. And then we need to retrieve that data. We're going to do that by using Supabase and whatever web hosting. I wrote Node. I don't think we need to use Node for Svelte. Some sort of front end, where this is like the overarching idea of the project. And today, in our front end, we need to do a couple of things. One, we need a button to press that logs the time. And this is like a minimum viable product, where in essence, you press this button and it is saying, I found something, and writing that the time that you press the button to the database. We need to be able to write that time to the database. And then ideally, we would then show a running log of all of the database records to the user. That is what we want this front end to be, which is incredibly simple, deliberately so, which makes it perfect for Svelte, because this can be done on one page, which is a very easy web app. And also it doesn't require a whole lot of like different branching paths. We just need good integration with a JavaScript, some third party. And then ideally with this running log, we have some live and some state and some things like that so the front end updates quickly. Okay, I've been talking for a bit. Let me look at chat. Ethical CODs, why do we use Svelte? We'll be using the Svelte for creating front-end web apps. Yep. Alternative for React/Angular, yes, but React and Angular, so I'm getting a little sidetracked here. Shashi Kumar, please try to react for YouTube comments, came from YouTube to Twitch. The YouTube live stream is only there for the sake of having a recording of the stream. Well, not only. This is the one downside of my streams. I was being asked by some people before about my stream setup, why it looks differently. The beautiful thing is that I get to do a lot of creative, interesting things. There's TTS enabled in Twitch chat, where if you type !TTS and then your message, it's read out in text to speech. We have custom emotes like Peter the Pizza. 404 is not here to appreciate this, but we have like Peter the Pizza. We have channel point rewards where you can redeem them to make sound effects.
Tangent alert! Tangent alert!
And all of that's wonderful, but it is all Twitch chat specific. So on my stream, I am only monitoring Twitch chat, unfortunately, and all of the interactivity is only in Twitch chat. In other streams, people are able to monitor both Twitch and YouTube chat, but my stream is not set up to do that, and I apologize. That sucks from an experience for you to be watching the stream and me not seeing your comments. That's not something that I can change on the fly. That's like a structural thing of the way that the streams are set up. So I appreciate you coming to Twitch, and I'm sorry that you had that experience. With that, how is this better than React, Ethical COD? Very good question. I would not say that it is better inherently, but I would say that it uses a different way of thinking that makes it better for specific applications. So this is where I'm going to go up to Lol Panda. Whoa, pizza, yes. For those of you who don't know, Peter the Pizza is a mascot for a Global Hack Week guild, and 404 Not Found is a very passionate member, if not leader, of this guild, and petitioned for a Peter the Pizza emote, and I eventually gave in, and we now have a Peter the Pizza emote. Okay, so Svelte, you'll notice that it is 3 talking points here: compiled, compact, complete. This is like the 3 things that make Svelte interesting. So where is it more apt to use it? In essence, it is this line right here, right? Breathtakingly concise components using languages you already know, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Oh, and your application bundles will be tiny as well. Svelte is incredibly lightweight in terms of the amount of boilerplate you need to write being incredibly low, and the fact that it is compiled into HTML, CSS, JavaScript into a very small package. It is very lightweight, like unto a vanilla HTML, CSS, JavaScript application, but it gives you some of the, if not most of the, like syntactic sugar and fun things of modern web development frameworks. So if we scroll down here, this is the entirety of Hello World using a variable to define world. And I think my favorite right here is reactivity. This is the one that convinced me that Svelte was very cool, where this is 12 lines. We define a script tag where we let count equal 0. We create a variable named count, and then we create a function called handle click where we just increment count. And then we have a button with an on click that calls handle click, and it just says clicked and then count in brackets. And when we click it, it automatically updates. So it is dealing with state, but those state variables are just our JavaScript variables. And it is all put on one page where we have our script tag and then we just have our HTML, rather than creating specific things that are like returned as components that are structured in JSX that are then like, this is structured in the same way of an HTML CSS just page. And you'll notice as well that we can just add a style tag that just uses CSS here. So beautiful. In short, I like Svelte because it allows me to, when I'm creating a small front end that is like a one-page front end, to be able to use the resources and the understanding that I have of HTML CSS and the tutorials that are written for HTML CSS and use them in a way that is still giving me some like nice pieces of tooling. So yeah, there's a lot of incredibly cool logic built into the front end as well, and things like that you can do. Basically, the things that you think of in React, you can do in Svelte, but Svelte requires a lot less, again, boilerplate setup configuration than React. React is obviously incredibly powerful as well. This is not a React replacement. It is an alternative that a lot of people who are smarter developers than I use Svelte. I like Svelte specifically for my smaller projects because, again, there's less upkeep, less mental load. That's generally, Ethical Cod, the answer to your question. With that, I think I have just... Hello, Mr. Clueless. Welcome. It's been a while. Lol Panda, I think this makes front end much easier, and looking at how large logic is concise to a few lines of code. Yes, that is the thing that I just like, where it just feels nice writing this because I don't feel like I need to write a ton of things. Where you can declare props and default values. It has a bunch of different ways of doing subscriptions as well. Life cycle stuff. Like, I am not the most... I say this a lot, a very good developer at making things work, of troubleshooting, of combining things, of hacking things together, a la hackathon. I am not necessarily the best at all of the theory. So a lot of these things, I'm like, I've heard of this, I have not used this. But it has a whole lot of different, like, tools and things that you can use. It's very nice. Mr. Clueless, I missed a lot. You missed like the overview of what we're doing, but you have not missed any of the writing of the code. Ethical Cod, thanks. Of course, I've said this a lot on my streams, but I love interacting with chat. In my mind, that is the point of a live stream. That if someone wanted just to get a tutorial, they could get a better tutorial that's video, that's pre-recorded, that's edited, that's scripted, that's all of those things. But the benefit of a live stream is that you can ask questions and I can react and we can change the direction of the stream based on what y'all want and need in chat. So that's always my goal. Sometimes my streams go off onto tangents, but I always think that those tangents are worthwhile. Shashi Kumar, light and efficient to use in large-scale applications, as evidenced by the other users. Yes, I am not experienced enough to know how to, like, when I think of a larger scale application, I think of it in terms of React. Svelte Kit specifically is like designed, I've talked about this before, to be like a Next.js, like not necessarily competitor, but like that same sort of style. So yes, it can be used in large-scale applications. I don't know how to use it in large-scale applications, so I use it to make simple, fast one-page web apps. That is what we are using it for today. With that, I think we can go ahead and get started. So, just finding where I want to start. Just double checking the tutorials. Great. Okay, wonderful. So this is an example here of what I was talking about, where under the first page of docs, start a new project, they recommend using SvelteKit, which is understandable. SvelteKit is incredibly cool because it deals with a lot of the like difficult configuration stuff, and it allows you to do a whole lot of different ways of building web apps. Yeah, generally, SvelteKit is very cool and good. SvelteKit also requires more knowledge of how you structure modern web apps. I don't have that prerequisite knowledge right now because the last time that I was building larger web apps was in 2021 using React. That is like before Next.js days, where like Gatsby was the new kid on the block. So I'm missing a lot of the prerequisite knowledge to make SvelteKit fast and easy and efficient, where it has like a learning curve for me at first. So we are just going to be using Svelte again for this one-page application, and thus we will need to create our own compiler with Vite. I come from a React background. On a scale of 1 to 5, how steep is the learning curve? If you come from a React background, I would say it is like a 2, where Svelte is my keyboard just turned off, a modern enough web framework that it uses the same sort of techniques as your Next.js, as your Gatsby, as your larger React projects, and it just has slightly different syntax and ways of thinking about it. So if you have that context of the way that modern web apps are designed and made and maintained and routed, and with server-side rendering and components and all of that stuff, SvelteKit will feel incredibly comfortable. Ooh, Sarah Lex, this is a very good question. Do you come up with project ideas based on something new you want to learn? For example, I want to learn Svelte. This would be a cool project. Or do you come up with an idea and figure out what languages, frameworks, etc. you need as you go along? This is a very good question because the last stream that I did shows that I have a preference here that is not ideal, but I do have a preference. And that is to come up with a project first and then to use the tools that would be best served for creating that project, with a preference towards using tools that I think are cool, that I want to learn, that sort of thing. In this case, for this project, I am excited to make something that is like small scale and lightweight and also entirely open source and hosted by me. So, Supabase, Svelte. But I needed to come up with the project first, the project being this like web application where you store user data about collecting things in the real world. Because that is what makes me excited. That is how I can contextualize why what I'm doing is important. And once I have that context, I have the direction that I need to be able to make the decisions required to do those troubleshooting steps, to integrate things together, to do things like that. That is like, again, I can. I find that I learn more and have a better context when I'm troubleshooting. But in order to make the decisions of troubleshooting, I find it is really important when I would be a user of my application. Or I have a good idea of what the user of my application needs. Because that allows me to make intelligent decisions about what the app should look like, what I should prioritize, what I can remove, things like that, to be able to create an application that is very functional and also important in hackathons and personal projects is a minimum viable product, that I'm not getting lost in the weeds in something that I don't need. Some people do, I want to learn a specific technology. What can I make in that technology? And if that works for you, that works for you. That doesn't necessarily work for me, because then I find that I'm creating boring projects. Like, I'm going to create a chat application. I literally said this 2 days ago on my previous stream. And then I sat there like, did I seriously just say that? I don't want to create a chat application. If I was going to use chat, I would if I wanted my own chat instance, I would use Matrix or an IRC client or like some like cool open. Anyway, that is a tangent of basically, while you can learn a lot from creating, like a lot of people create like Instagram or Reddit clones or things like that, and you can learn a lot from that. It is not the way that I Ethical cod. Well, for production level dev, is it better to use Vite or to use React, or is it good to go with React app? I always use create React app, because nothing that I'm writing is large scale enough to require that. And if I were to be writing something large scale enough, I would be on a team that already has a preference. So I would say, for the sake of personal projects and for hackathon projects, to use whatever you are most comfortable with. Mr. Clueless, the difference is noted in performance only, so I think you should be good, both for small projects with like 2 to 3 pages. Good to know, Mr. Clueless. Sarah Lex, love it, thanks, of course. Skull Crusher, welcome back, nice to see you again. I struggle with not getting lost in the weeds when I see comparisons of the XXX text I've chosen and why Y is better, and I should have chosen Y instead. That is such a mood. That is such a mood. There's this idea, again, I like, my day job is in production technician. Create Omegle clone, that would be fun. Ethically challenging, but fun. Oh, I work in production tech. And production tech is great for talking about this concept right here, Skull Crusher, because there's this idea of GAS, gear acquisition syndrome. Which is, I see it, or I have encountered it most frequently in photography, but apparently it is also in music and things like that. Gear acquisition syndrome, also known as GAS, is commonly understood as the musician's unrelenting urge to buy and own instruments and equipment as an anticipated catalyst of creative energy and bringer of happiness. And I see this exact same thing with technology, especially in students, where I know I will talk from me personally in the hopes that you resonate with it, if not totally okay, but I do not speak for everyone. I know for me, when I am in this place, it is coming from being afraid that I am not able to make the things that I want to make, or that the things that I've learned are not good enough for my projects, my classmates, future employers, that sort of thing. So I'll be like, okay, I will learn everything. I will learn all of the things, and I need to be the best and learn the best thing. And what I've learned, and I'm still learning how to implement this and to give myself grace around it, but I've learned that generally, I think it is better to learn one thing and to create cool things with that one tech stack and experiment and really like learn about that technology, and then use that as like your starting point. And if that doesn't work for something you're trying to make, then you branch out. Now, I am bad at this, as evidenced by the fact that we're setting up Supabase and we're using Svelte and we're like pulling all these different things. But this is partly due to the nature of streaming, where I'm trying to have interesting new projects and stream ideas and things like that. But if you are someone who knows like Ruby on Rails is not, for lack of a better word, sexy. It is not
Tangent alert!
Very appropriate tangent
alert
here. Ruby on Rails is not like a sexy new like technology that people are excited about. But if you know Ruby on Rails well, and you can create cool applications in Ruby on Rails, I think that that is warranted, unless you are specifically looking for a job as a React developer, and especially as a student. I think it is cool to say, hey, this is the technology I know really well. These are the things that I've made in it. And really well is relative. You don't need to be like a professional level, but being like, I've made a couple of projects in this, and this is a hackathon project that I made that I was really happy with. That, I think, is more valuable than having a lot of small or like kind of test bed projects for a bunch of different things. Because that like deeper knowledge in one thing gives you context to make relationships and connections to other pieces of knowledge later. That like the reason why I was struggling with learning the theory behind NoSQL is that I didn't have the context to be able to come up with like connections to like connect it in my brain. That's sort of a rambling. I don't know how well I made that point there, but that is generally what I think of when I think of getting lost in the weeds comparing tech. That, yeah, it can be cool to just build things and to use the tool that you feel most comfortable and confident, combine those two words, in being able to build that thing that you want to build. Okay. Ha. Ethical COD, yeah. Yeah, the job market is. It's rough. I mentioned before that I'm going back to school for computer science. The job market is part of the reason why. That, like, it is very possible to still get jobs without a computer science degree, just having experience, having projects, that sort of thing. But generally, entry-level positions are fewer and farther between. And there's a joke that I read that resonates with me, that there are plenty of senior-level positions at entry-level salaries. Again, I'm 21. I do not claim to be an expert long-term in the job market, but it is what I hear from many people who have been looking for a lot longer than me. But we are applying to jobs right now. We're creating a fun, small project. Let's get started in Svelte. Specifically, in right here, we can do npm create vite at latest and selecting the Svelte option. And we don't need a routing library because this is going to be one page. That's why I said let's build some open source crazy stuff. Yes, I think that's fun. Oh, let's make a job searching app with Svelte. That would be fun. We have different definitions of fun, Mr. Clueless. There have been a couple of job search apps that, yeah. The job market is very dehumanizing in general. They're very good companies and they're very good people, but in general, it can be a dehumanizing process. Okay. Great. Let me open up our folder here. Great. And we are going to npm create vite at latest. And we're going to select Svelte. Project name. Let's just call it Warcross. Svelte in TypeScript. Great. Amazing. So now you might notice, hey, that looks like a lot of boilerplate. This is less boilerplate and more just your compiler. This is your equivalent of a makefile. Really, our code is this. Ooh, this is going to drive me slightly insane. Let me check my extensions here. Indent rainbow. Ooh, I need to... Okay. I write code on stream and on my, like, this laptop for school on a different user account and on a work laptop. And thus, I have different extensions on each of them. Why do I have the C#? Svelte for VS Code, Svelte language support. Great. I also don't need Unity code snippets anymore. Good-o for the win. Okay, what are we making today? We are making basically we're making a front end with a button that'll write the Unix timestamp to a database. I can do some set dressing around it, some world building of the project that we're building, but we aren't implementing a whole lot today. I want to know how important is the knowledge of TypeScript? Like, is it a must or is it good if you know, but it's okay if you don't? And Little Panda, when we choose between TypeScript and JavaScript, which one is better or is it preference? It is preference. Now, I say that because this is my hill that I kind of die on stream of like, all building is good, all making is good. You can make with the tools that you have. I say this a lot when people are like asking about like laptops and things like that of like, yes, If you have a really old laptop, you might struggle with certain things, but you can get around that. You can use other tooling, and all making is good. Generally, when I hear people talking about like production and things like that, they prefer TypeScript because TypeScript catches more bugs when you are writing with a strict type system, whereas JavaScript is more loosey-goosey. So I hear a very strong preference towards TypeScript, and I think that is backed up if we go to a programming language popularity graph. Let's take a look at the Stack Overflow developer survey. Okay. Here we have a wonderful breakdown, which is slightly off what I was expecting. JavaScript, 65%, HTML, CSS, SQL, Python, and then TypeScript at 43. Again, TypeScript obviously very popular. What I want to see is over time. Is this going to give me a graph? This does not have TypeScript on it. Python, Java, Rust taking off, understandable. This is a big tangent, but I'm really curious now. JavaScript. TypeScript. There we go. You can see that TypeScript is really taking off. It seems it's winning through perception. Yeah, I've heard very good things about TypeScript. A lot of the people that I've done projects with are huge like TypeScript like evangelists. But I think this is like a good example of like TypeScript growing in popularity. Again, it is personal preference, but TypeScript takes JavaScript and removes some of the jank. My favorite fun fact is JavaScript made in 7 days. The first version of JavaScript took 10 days. And it was made by like the story that I like to tell is that it was written in 10 days by drunk college students. And there are a lot of weird things with JavaScript that are considered to be jank. In terms of like, yeah, there are like some specific examples. That is not what this stream is on. I'm going on a tangent again. We have created our Svelte app. And what we can do is our app.svelte. Error module not found, cannot find package at Svelte.js. Feet plugin Svelte. Well, that's interesting. Does quitting VS Code and restarting it back up work for anyone? This is the level of jank that I love in my development. Okay, that did not help. I'm just going to double check that we have this installed. Try deleting it. Whoa. Interesting. Try deleting and rebuilding the project. That is always a good step, especially this early in a project. Clear npm cache and try again. I've never had errors installing an npm module. Okay, we are deleting this and trying again. Great. Onboarding with basic web development knowledge. Svelte has a shallow learning curve. Amazing. Okay. Let's try using this. Try cleaning the cache and trying again with Vite. I want to try this first. Though in hindsight, using generally I trust the npm and MDN, not P, MDN docs, as well as the docs for a project. Where did this build? Excuse me, what? Where did this build? It's running. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. There's a certain irony to I'm currently applying to a couple of jobs, and I had the deranged thought of like, oh no, what if they go on my stream and they see all of the weird mistakes that I make? It's not there and there at the same time. What I'm basically looking for is MLH projects. Doesn't look like it's here. What? Where? Where is this? Like, is this like one of the developer meme? Like, if you don't know how it works, then don't touch it. Yes. I hate that in development because I want to know where everything is and how it works. Well, in this case, I need to know where it is to be able to edit the code. Shem, if you're still here, this is a great example of me being like, it's simple, and then being like, why can I not even start the project? The last time that I did this, I basically structured all of this myself, which I was kind of looking for that tutorial again, because that was really good. Not using like a default boilerplate. Well, you're joking. It built in my trash. I forgot to change that I was still in the folder that I deleted in my still here saying nothing. Very appropriate, Shem. It built in my trash. This is deranged. This is absolutely deranged. Well, at least it is very easy to get rid of. Oh, wow. I have not done that on this user in a very long time. Great. How to manually set up v4 Svelte. Okay, I believe this is the tutorial that we used last time. Okay. We're going to do something. I didn't do this last stream, but I generally try to. I generally try to take a break in the middle of our streams to give people and myself a chance to like stretch. Specifically in this instance, I want a chance to clear my head and like think about where I want to go from here in the stream to make sure that it is a good stream for y'all. While we are here, can we use bun? No, I am not adding more complexity. Apologies. I've heard good things about bun, but I'm sticking with NPM. With node, I guess, is the... Okay. I'm going to put a 5-minute timer up to give me a chance to think about this, because when I'm streaming, I am narrating my train of thought and thus don't necessarily make the lateral moves that I need to. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, stretch, take care of yourselves, do what you need to do. I'm going to find my favorite song for when we take a break. Great. We will be back in 5 minutes. This is always an awkward transition where I'm completely changing where the music is coming from. Okay.
2, 3, and 4. Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Find that you have so much. 頑張りすぎる自分に疲れてふと泣けてきた真夜中のバスルームで Can't you see? Can't you see? 幸せの基準測るものさし自分の心の中にあるのさ You can find, you can find 足りないもの数えるくらいなら足りてるもの数えてごらんよ Count what you have now, don't count what you don't have. Can't you see? Can't you see? Have now. Don't count what you don't have. You can't have so much. You can't find. Can't you see? Can't you see? Have now. Don't count what you don't have. You have so much.
Welcome back, y'all. So, I have grounded myself again. We are back. I have realized that, like, I need to add more tech to this stream. It would be fun to have a wireless microphone because I do my, like, thinking in this way of I stand up and I pace around while muttering to myself, and to be able to capture that for y'all. So you can join me for my muttering sessions. So we were looking at the Vite page on how to do this, which is what we were following before, I believe. And the reason why here is because, again, Svelte's goal is to have you use SvelteKit because it makes sense for larger projects. But the low learning curve of Svelte is in Svelte. SvelteKit has a slightly higher learning curve. Again, if you have more web dev experience, it's a very easy transition. So, this is not what I was looking for. Okay.
Vite.
Vite. This has been a little bit of a tangent-oriented stream. So we are going to set a speedrun timer here. It is Global Hack Week data. Today, we are doing a Svelte front-end 100% run. As in, we have a set of goals and we are trying to complete it. Have you ever used the Google IDX IDE? I have not. What are we looking to do? First, we want to install and set up Svelte. Then we want to install and set up Vite to compile it. Then we want to add a button to our UI. And then we want to add JavaScript for Supabase. Those 4 things. We have a total of, I'm going to say 45 minutes. Thus, I'm going to give us 10 on Svelte, 15 on Vite, 10 on the button, 5 on the button, and then a remaining 15 on setting up that JavaScript. These are the times that hopefully we will be able to fit. With that, we are going to get started now. We are installing and setting up Svelte. If I minimize this, it freezes. Okay, so that needs to stay up. Great, okay. So, in Svelte here, I know that I've done this before, where we set up Svelte first, and then we set up Vite. And then we set up Vite, not Svite. Runtime, compiler, interactive tutorial or examples, start a new project. If you don't want to use SvelteKit for some reason, you can use Svelte with Vite. We don't need Supabase today. Oof indeed. Create Vite. This is the same thing. Okay, we are going back in time to Emily's projects, to the Twitch control panel. Let's open this in VS Code. Dramatic tension indeed. Hey, wait a sec. No. Why is this not? That makes me mad. Hello, 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 y'all. Hello and welcome, Keith. Edit segments. I put these in the wrong place, so it wasn't showing the fun things that I want it to show. There we go. We have 8 minutes now remaining on this. Oh, you cannot see the changes that I'm making, but I'm updating the speedrun timer so that it'll show y'all how close I am to our time goals and if I am way off. Great. Now if I do this, I did this correctly last time. Excuse me. Again, this is a tangent, but I think it makes the stream better. I want that plus minus to be showing. Thank you for the follow, Rio Saib. Saiba? Clear times. Segment time. 8 minutes. This worked successfully last stream. If I close this, don't save, and reopen it again. Apologies. What is broken? What am I doing wrong? Uh-oh.
Tangent alert!
It is, but...
Tangent alert!
Oh, golly. This used to be wonderful because it would show you how much time we had remaining in each segment. What is the timer called? It is Splitter. It is macOS only. If you are not on macOS, I would recommend you use Live Split. Let me double check that. Yes, Live Split. Live Split is what traditionally speedrunners use. It is just not supported on macOS. Okay. It's working after I split, but not working live. Okay, we will try it again. This is our Svelte 100% run. Maybe add setting up Splitter to the learning curve. I've done this before successfully. It was working 2 days ago. I don't know what I'm doing differently. I truly do not know what I'm doing differently. Okay, set up Vite/Svelte. Segment time, 15 minutes. Set up button. 10 minutes. That's 10 seconds. 10 minutes. Set up brain. Oh, wow, you really cannot see. Oh, no, okay. You can see it because I've moved where it's showing. Set up JavaScript for Supabase, 15 minutes. And that gets us to our time. Okay, start. Great. It is running. You can see the current time. It is good enough. Great. So we are going to file, open folder, Twitch control panel, open. Okay. This has helped looking at it. Okay. File, new window, open. Documents, MLH projects. We're in Global Hack Week May. Okay. So it looks like we started with a V. Console is still in trash. Thank you. No, it is not. It is. Ha 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 ha. Great. Bonk is appropriate there. Okay. Oh, I so want to use bun here. Just for the fun of it. No, I've done enough. Okay, npm create v at latest. You'll notice that this is the same thing that Svelte talks about. Warcross template. Svelte.js is the template name, right? Yes. If I now run this, we'll see. Oh, that's why I was having problems before. I didn't npm install. Gentle reminder, you have a timer running. Thank you, Shem. That is kind of the point of the timer. Okay. If we look at this, great. This is what we had before. This is more familiar to me. npm run dev should work now. Yes, I don't especially like, let's do it. Oh my goodness, and I recognize the local host number and everything. This feels familiar, which is always nice. Great. Amazing. Okay. We no longer need this one. Great. Okay. We are going to get rid of counter. We're going to get rid of the SVG. We're going to keep the app CSS because it looks very pretty. We thus don't need any of those imports. And in our main, we can get rid of everything. And in our style, we can get rid of everything as well. Great. We have what we are looking for, which is set up very quickly. So we can split. We're 9 minutes ahead with a gold split there. Looks kind of similar to Vue. That makes sense. A lot of these are structured very similarly in terms of the file structure. And also, I really liked Vue. I used it like in 2 projects, but I really liked Vue because, again, like Svelte, it allowed you to structure things in a way that was more like unto. Whoa! Thanks for the subscription, Death Machine. I'm glad you subscribed with Prime and not actual money. Oh, then by all means, Bun. I've already used Node to create this. We are not going back to use Bun as much as I want to. That can be a future stream topic. But Vue also has like a very similar structure. React is the most popular, I believe. I might be making that up, but I'm like 90% sure that React is the most popular framework right now. We can add Tailwind CSS and make it complex. One of the things about, if I'm correct about what Tailwind does, one of the cool things about Svelte is that you don't need Tailwind. I mean, you can obviously use it. No. We could still use Tailwind. I have never used Tailwind before. Oh, dang. This is the first time I've ever actually looked at Tailwind. Okay, I'm filing that away in my brain as I understand why so many people use it. Because we could also throw Shad CN UI in here if we wanted to be real fancy, but we don't. We are now setting up button. So, in our main, button, and our button is going to be called log Unix time. And it is going to have an on click that is going to call a function that is called set Unix time. And thus, we're going to function set Unix time. Type void is not pressed or released on the element. There we go. We have a button. When we click async await works better with Supabase. Yes, we will be setting up async await. We are first just setting up a button. Great. That should have hot reloaded. Whoa. There we go. Log Unix time. And if we go inspect in our console, button pressed. Amazing. We're going to turn off autosave here. Great. We have our button. We can click it. In hindsight, I assigned, 10 minutes to do this? It's not all that complicated. So we're going to split again. We are now 15 minutes ahead of schedule. Now it is a question of setting up our interaction with Supabase. So we are going to go to our Supabase documentation. Documentation. We're looking at database documentation. Postgre. Yeah. This is all. This is their stuff. This is not Client library, JavaScript. Great. Okay. Use the docs in the console. That's better. You'll need to give more context to that. Insert data. Let's start with the introduction. This reference documents every object and method available in Superbase's isomorphic JavaScript library. Invoke Dino edge functions. Uh-oh. Okay. I thought for a second, did we need to use Dino in our Svelte? No. Go to the Superbase console and create a project. Then inside the... we do not have a Superbase account yet. We have not created a project. We have not done anything. In hindsight, we should really do that. But the point of this is that we are just setting up our front end here. Let's install Superbase. Dino is a node alternative like Bun. In this case, when I was reading that, I jumped to the conclusion of, oh no, do I need to use Dino? No, they use Dino as the runtime for their edge functions, which are serverless functions. Great. Excuse me. Again, they have like a weird preference for Dino. Initializing. Create a new client for use in the browser. You can initialize the new Superbase client using the create client method. The Superbase client is your entry point into the rest of the Superbase functionality and is the easiest way to interact with everything we offer within the ecosystem. Great. The reason why I can't create a dashboard here is because we have not hosted Superbase yet. The goal of this was to create our front end so that we can focus hard on Superbase and have the framework that we need to interact with it all set up. Ha ha ha. Yeah, this is out of order. This is what I am doing is out of order. We should really have hosted Superbase already, which means what else can we do on our front end? I guess the other thing, we want a button to be able to click such that on click, it writes the Unix timestamp to the database. Host Superbase, it runs on the cloud as far as I know. Oh, log the Unix timestamp to the console. Very smart. We are going to self-host it on our own Raspberry Pi because that's the beauty of open source. Great. How to get Unix timestamp in TypeScript. Date.now. Great. Very easy. Do you want to log what color item folks find? We don't want to do that yet because that makes things more complicated. The idea is extremely small minimum viable product. Again, talking about the project is fun because that is what makes it fun for me. That is like the set dressing of why we are doing what we are doing, but we are not actually going to be implementing anything that is more than writing to a database and reading from a database, which we need to do the reading from a database. In which case I will use shadcn UI because I'm not a robot, I promise.
It features beam angles.
It features beam angles. because in our components, we have a data table. Shadcn requires Tailwind. Great. This is where it might be revealed that, again, I have not written front-end apps since Material, like MUI, was like new and fancy and fresh. I know Tailwind, I can help you. Great. Amazing. We're learning together. Well, I'm learning from y'all. Add the following to the tsconfig file, .json to resolve paths. This is an interesting thing that I don't... to resolve the paths to... Yes, I understand now. In our compiler options. Great. vconfig.ts. Oh, goodness. Okay, great. Whoa. Excusez-moi. Oh, duh. There we go. Great. Bonk is appropriate. Duplicate, thank you. Feel free to use TTS for something like that as well. I have never used Shadcn, so we are adding complexity here. But where is our global CSS file? I'm assuming it's this app.css. Great. It is src. Great. Whew, golly. Great. What is off here? Unknown rule at Tailwind. That. Okay. Great. You can get a beautiful Tailwind CSS table from Float UI. It's drag and drop. Good to know. Going to just try restarting this to update. Ugh. Okay. Use the files association to tell key CSS value Tailwind CSS. Great. Okay, that is what I had. Why is that still not working? It might be a workspace issue because my workspace is one level higher than the project. That theoretically shouldn't be an issue, but just in case. That was the issue. Okay, great. Fixed. Beautiful. Okay. With that, now we should be able to, again, why do you have a semicolon after @tailwind? That is just the default that was set up by the tooling. Hey, it is doing the live countdown. Okay, it just wasn't doing it before. Anyway, it shows that we have 14 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. Great. So, we definitely want our button. Great. And now we can import button in our Svelte page. I believe this is a TypeScript JavaScript issue. Chat CNUI. JSX not set. What is dash dash JXS? What is this doing? Where is this? Oh, of course we're not using JSX. JSX is... Wait a second. Oh no. This might be the problem. ShadCN is React specific. That's why we're having all these issues. Whoopsie. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. Great. How do we uninstall this? Keeping it real? Keeping it real indeed. Okay. npm uninstall. Great. We need to remove that from our tsconfig.json. Yeah. We might be adding it again later, but I just want to make sure that I don't have any tech debt on this. Types node, that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, it does say plugins React, and I just changed it to Svelte. But I forgot that that is not how anything works. Okay, 9 minutes, 38 seconds. Okay. Theoretically, now we can redo this. We've added Tailwind, but not at Svelte. So let's try this again. Do you want to use the typography plugin? I'm going to go with the default no there. Okay. How do we uninstall Tailwind that we installed before? Theoretically, we did. But it was still initialized. Install dependencies. Path aliases. Hey, okay. Import path from path. Great. Okay. This makes more sense now. Now we do this again. TypeScript, style, color. Hey, and now it's using the correct location. .ts. Import alias for components. Whoa. Well, there is now. Ah. That at is weird. I don't believe that should be there. I'm going to do something that is highly not recommended. We weren't actually, this was, okay. Oh, golly, this might have been quite stupid. Five minutes. Can I recreate everything we've done in 5 minutes? Most of what we've done has been learning, so I think so. Appropriate. Very appropriate. Okay. Great. This is deranged. I should not have done this. I mean, I should have done this because I had dependencies that I did not know what those dependencies were. It's my first time using Tailwind. War cross. template Svelte.ts. Great. The good news is that the npm's install here is faster than it is in Create React App. Great. Amazing. We're recreating everything. Great. That's set. If I now do npm run dev, come on. Amazing. Great, we're back to where we were. Now we just need to install this again. Goodness. 2 minutes. npm installed. And our compiler options. And our Vite config. Import path from path. One minute. Oh, we don't have the type definitions. Oh no. We don't have the type definitions. We got them here. Great. Run the CLI. 17 seconds. Yes, we'd like to use TypeScript. Default style, slate, src, app.css. Great, initialized, done. We have ShadCN UI, we have our button, we have everything that we need for our front end. We have successfully completed the things that we wanted to complete, and I did not split at the right time, so we are 5 seconds over. Thank you all so much for coming. Coming up next after this, starting right now, is what? It is Wikipedia races, which will be in the Discord. So go on down to the Discord, discord.mlh.io to join in for some Wikipedia races. It'll be super fun. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you learned something. Thank you for the good jobs. I am very happy with how this went. I feel like, again, I've learned a lot about Svelte by creating this stuff manually and needing to redo it. And my next stream is going to be on... Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. My next stream is on May 13th, which is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, where we are going to be self-hosting Supabase and connecting it to this front end so we can be dynamically reading and writing in real time to a PostgreSQL database. Thank you all so much for coming. Happy hacking, keep it crispy, and go to the Discord, discord.mlh.io for the next event. Thank you all, and goodbye. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really enjoyed this stream. It was fun interacting with y'all. Lots TV. Come back for the next stream where I can talk more about my stream setup. It can be and will be a thing that I talk about in terms of production tech.